Hello and welcome to Tips Creatives. Today I thought I would teach you how to make one of these dangles and stoppers for your glue bottles. Now I have fabric fix in here, and this is a Sugar Belle glue bottle, which is normally I think it's for frosting decorating. So I did buy this at Michael's or Joann's in the cake decorating aisle. And since it is meant to be for icing, it does not come with a stopper for the top. So I had to create one. And I had happened to see a couple of videos online, one by Gayle, about making a stopper that's pretty for your own bottle. So I came up with my own system on how to do that. At the time, I wasn't familiar with jewelry making, which now I'm definitely a lot more familiar with jewelry making and how to go about that. So I thought I'd even make myself a new one today as we do this. So again, this is Sugar Belle. I don't know if you can find it on Amazon. You might be able to, but you can definitely get those in the craft stores. And this one came in a package. Yeah, and they're great. They are great for dispensing, especially the thicker glues like fabric fix. And this never gets stuck in there or glued down. It's always nice and loose and comes out easily. And my eyeballs don't work as well. So even if it just gets a little glue on it, I'll scrape it off with my fingertips and then clean off the top sometimes and then stick it right back in there. Now you may be familiar with the art glitter glue. So I thought I wanted a fancy one for this, a fancy stopper and all jeweled up. But it's important on this one that you have, I believe it's a stainless steel pin. And so the art glitter glue comes with this special tip. I have it on there pretty securely right now. And then it does actually give you the pin to put in the top, because if you put the wrong kind of pin in here, it will rust. And I had decided to go ahead and try it anyway. And I put one of these decorative pins in using my head pins, and it started to rust and turn an awful color. So I got it out there really fast. Yeah, so that wouldn't continue to happen. But art glitter glue is a great way to glue these items in place. As you can see, it does work for jewelry, and it's permanent, water-based, and it has a really good hold and a quick dry. So that's a good one. It's a little more expensive, so I kind of use that sparingly. You can also use glossy accents, which takes a lot longer to dry, and I'm impatient. This would give you a really strong hold, and it does have a little flex to it. Gives a gloss finish, but it does have one of those really precise tips on it. So it will give you a nice little tiny dollop of glue where you need it. But again, I'm impatient and want it to hold right away. So the first time I did this, I used fabric fix to hold it in place, which has worked, and it stayed together, but it glopped over and made a little glue smudge, and I don't like how it looks now. So again, I'd like to make another one. And these are pretty simple to make. You may not like my way of doing it, and that's fine. You can look for a different video and you'll find something else out there. But this is what I figured out works for me. And I use this little chain, and it can be a chain that you get off an old necklace. And then I put the little dangles on it, which whatever makes me feel good and happy. And then you've got your little stopper. Now you want to make sure that it's not too heavy, because it will pull your bottle over if the dangle is too weighted. So you do want to watch out for that. So I have the parts and pieces here, and let's go forward and making this. I'm trying to figure out where to put this. I'll put it right here. Or maybe right here. So the glue I do use right now to put these together is I think most people use B6000, mine's B7000. I really don't know the difference. Maybe somebody else does, but it's flexible, waterproof, and it dries very quickly and clear. So it's a great one for jewelry, and it really has a nice hold to it. Acrylic diamond adhesive. So yeah, this is a great one and it's multi-purpose, so you can use it on a lot of things. Now, my hands have been really arthritic lately, so I started off with putting some of the Voltaren on my hands to, loosen them up and get them to stop aching as much, which has worked very well. And I have my glasses to see better, but my reader glasses, but sometimes it's still difficult to see everything I need to. So some things I did a little bit in advance, and I want to show you that, and then the pieces to put together. So I start out with one of these headpins. I do like the decorative headpins, but you can use a flat headpin. I have bought these off of Amazon, and I think they're $8 for 60 of them, or $9 for 60 of them. I don't buy a lot of these because now I've learned how to make my own headpins, but I don't really have the ability to make the cute little ends like that in the metal. So I still buy these specific ones off Amazon, and I feel like they're a pretty good price. So you need a headpin, and it really does need to have a wider head at the bottom, because otherwise your joint will be seen. So we're gonna just hold on to this one right here. And then I collect chains, like I said, from old necklaces. So I have a varying size of chains, and you could go from gold to silver or antique, whatever you want to use, whatever chain colors you have. You do what works for you best and that you like, because every time you go to your glue and take that headpin or take that dangle off, you want to feel good about it and not go, oh gosh, that's so ugly, I really don't like what I did. You want to feel good about it. Make sure you do what brings you joy when you are doing your art, and don't settle for less, because then you tend to pull away and stop doing it. I know that I do. So you'll want a piece of chain, which I have prepped over here, and I have 2 pieces of chain, and they are different sizes. So I'm going to put the chain over here, and you can see this is a wider size and this is a smaller size. It doesn't really matter what size it is. You just need a piece of chain. I will say the smaller one is a little easier to use, but again, you can use whatever you want. And the bigger one, sometimes you can just flatten the ring out, the jump ring out, and then it works. So I chose silver over here for those head pins. Silver chain to match. They just happen to have the dangle on the end from the necklace or bracelet that they came from, so I left that there because I thought it looked kind of cute. So I'm going to put that one down. And then what you do is you've got your head pin, you've got your chain, and then you need one of these spacers, beading spacers, and what that's going to do is go on the bottom of it's going to slide onto the bottom of your head pin. So these come in different kind of looks, sizes, and I know when I bought mine, it came with a bunch of them. I was going to show you a bunch of them. Here, let me get them. That's the wrong one. So I don't have them in front of me. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, I do. Here we go. See, I organized all my beads in my massive bead thing, and it has helped as long as I can find the container. So here's the end caps that are really helpful to use, and that will hide the chain. So I'm gonna just put a few of those out so you can look at those. All right, so yeah, any one of these end caps will work. I like to size mine so it's not sticking over too much, and I decided to use these spacers here. And I will tell you, on this one, I used a little spacer and a bead. No, that was an end cap. That was a little rounded end cap and a bead. And I sandwiched the chain in between the head pin and the metal finding here. So, and a finding is just a piece of metal that you use on putting your jewelry together. I was like, what is a finding? I don't understand that. So that's what it is. It's just pieces that you use to put your jewelry together. All right, so here, I'll take it apart. Got my head pin. I slide, oops, my hand today. I slide my chain onto my head pin. There you go. And that is going to be sandwiched with this star spacer onto the headband like that. And you don't really see the chain that's in there, so that's kind of nice. And then what we'll do, I like just putting this little bead on the end, because little beads that very nicely on the top of the fabric fix or the Sugar Belle bottle. I want to show you. So right now I know that that's gonna be kind of fun looking, and I like it already. And I'll put my dangles on there. So what we'll do now is we will, let me shove that back in there. Even if this little stick is warped, because sometimes I'm not real careful with it, it can be, straightened back out. So I'm gonna get the glue off there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my B7000 and I'm gonna open that, and I'm gonna put a little bit right here. Not too much to squirt out the sides, That might even be too much. I'm an overgluer. I happen to be an overgluer. So that's there. And then I'm gonna hold my star there. Whoop. And then on the other end, I'm going to put this dollop there. Whoops. See, I got a little crazy with that. That's okay. And then I put my little tiny bead on the end to hold it together. And I'm gonna let that dry. So I'm gonna do that to a second one here. While that dries. And this one, I didn't use a bead. I used another tiny spacer at the bottom of the star spacer. So again, first I got the headband, I slid my chain on, which I'm gonna glue right now. Like that, over gluer. I just can't stop doing that. And then I'm gonna lower my star onto that. I wanted to get some more glue in between the spacers. So I'm gonna pull that one off. You have some time before it sets. So, and then I'm gonna put the other one there. I hope we're still recording. Yep. And there you go. So that's gonna be a nice look. And again, I'd already tried it on the bottle earlier to make sure it was something that I like. And you can hold this in place till it dries, or you can, wait till it gets a tiny bit of hold and then set it aside. Alrighty, so these, I have already planned my little dangles that I want to put on them. So I'm going to put that there to dry. Dry, dangle, dry. Oops, sorry. I need more glue on that, I can't imagine. But it looks like I do, because it keeps wanting to come up on me. So I'm gonna put a bunch of glue in there. Make sure I turn it this time. And put that right down on there. So I'm gonna hold that for a second while I get my glue. I'm gonna stick my little stick in there. Okay, so this is gluing, this stick is gluing, and then I've gone ahead and picked out what dangles I would like to have on my chain. So those are all going to be on my chain. Now you can either make your own dangles, which I have done in some of these cases. Like I'm going to use my paper beads and my fabric wrap beads, and then I have put little, I forgot to put that on her. I'll show you how to do that. My jump rings on these dangles that came from Amazon. I can't remember what kind they were because they always have a name, but yes, I know I had gotten some that are all leaves, and this is from a volley chain that I took apart, and this was a separate type that had all these fantastic words, and I've had those for a long time, and they have, all of them came with the jump, not the jump ring, but the claw on it, so it's easy to attach to anything, or you can take the claw off and save that for something else. So that's kind of nice too. So those were pretty inexpensive at the, on Amazon. So check that out. I'm going to move the chains over here. So I'm sure that's setting by now. So I'm going to set it down here. And now let's see. This one is still setting. So I'm going to leave it both of those over here to dry. All right, so like I said, I had these pre-made, and so that's already dry and nice and solid. And what I'm going to put on here is one of my paper beads. This is a dangle Belle from something I deconstructed. Here's a pretty little jewel to hang off the end or side. One of my Bali flowers from the deconstructed ankle bracelets. And then this cute little crystal butterfly. That is glass, so it's a little weighty, but I'm hoping it's going to be okay. So I am going to need, I think, a couple of jump rings on here. 1, 2, yeah, 2. Because if you want this to really dangle, you need to have the jump rings on it. Otherwise, it won't dangle very well. And again, a lot of the stuff I get off of Amazon, and I haven't figured out how to do affiliate links yet, so I'm working on that. But these were a great price with Amazon. Same with the jewelry tools. And so you just open that jump ring and make sure you go side to side, not pulling it wide open. If you pull it wide open like that, you're going to break it. That's just, yeah, you're going to break it. So you want to just make sure you pull it side to side, and then you just simply put your dangle charm on there and then close it. Pull it back from the side to side. So again, side to side, open, close, but don't pull it out like this because it will break. And if you do that once, you'll learn not to do it again. And so I need to put one on my paper bead. It was fun making those paper beads. I made 300 of them with my husband, and I mean, he helped cut all the papers and then wrap. I did all the wrapping, and then I sealed them and then made them into pretty little jewels with the head pins and all that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun, I tell you. I really enjoyed it. So I have this dangle on that jump ring. I am going to open it because I want to put it on my, I've had coffee today, sorry. Oh, I got the shakes on my chain. So I've got that on my chain, and then I'm just going to close it again, side to side, making sure that that tip of it's closed. And you can do a little bit of, push to make sure it's nice and closed tight. All right. And then once again, and I'm showing this to you, so if you haven't, worked with jewelry before, it really is a pretty simple process. Some people don't like the time it takes. My sister goes crazy, so I make her jewelry for her. But I really enjoy the peace and quiet and the zen I can get into in creating. And then after I put all the pieces together, you can have all these pieces and then they come out looking like, I'm gonna get my arm in, something like this, or this one is so pretty. I love that one. And this is my practice of making flowers, or this dangle here. I really enjoy creating, and it's a lot of fun. And I do try to use quality products to do it. Let's see, find that little opening. Oof. All right. Gosh, sorry about that. So when either I have the shakes from coffee or from medicine, what I do is, I'm gonna put this at the bottom. Where do I want this one? This is a jewel. I had decided where I wanted the jewel, but now I'm not so sure. I think I'm gonna put the jewel right here. Now, it doesn't matter if you put it on the right or left side of that loop, and then your charm or dangle piece will face a particular way, the way you put it on. So be aware that if you want that on a different way, put it on the opposite side. And then it's good to also go alternate from one side to the other. Otherwise, it can become one side heavy, which I have done before because I didn't know that. And so I had gotten everything on one side and it was so weird. as you can see, I have this one here and this one here, so they're already lining up pretty good as they're alternating sides on the chain. Now I do want something more on the bottom, and I know that I want to put my little flower here at the very bottom. Some of these are soft enough where I can just pull them out, and or I just have root strength and I pull them apart, but I always have to put them together with the pliers to make sure they're done well. And these pliers were a set that I got on Amazon, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to use all the things in there. And then as I got more and more familiar with making jewelry, I got excited, you know, and now I use all the pieces in there because I'm doing a lot more. I think I want to put the butterfly on this side, so that's what we're going to do, is open this jump ring and put it on the other side. Now I don't know if you're bored watching this but again, I'm just trying to show newbies how to do this and how simple it can be, and I'm trying to go a little slow, you know, and even though I have the shapes at times, I'm okay with trying to get my jewelry together with that going on. To be honest, I do have you know, I do have a lot of medical issues, so I have certain things I have to overcome, and so I try to do that because I think it's important. It's important to show that we can overcome those challenges in our life, especially when they're chronic and they're not going to go away. So, all right, I want this again on this side, right? I think I want it right here. Now, if I haven't gotten enough of these on this chain, okay, let's see what we're like here. So if I feel like I want to put more up here, I can, because it feels like it's a little empty. And maybe what I can do is simply put something like miracle, because I'm a miracle. I'm a miracle, you're a miracle, we're all a miracle, right? Sometimes we don't feel like it, but it's important to believe in ourselves and not lose hope. So there we go. I'm going to put that on the top one, and there we go. So that is my first bead, or my first glue dangle to stopper there, and there we go. And it's not too heavy, it's not going to pull it over, and it looks nice, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. Again, you can put any colors, anything you want on there so that it's brighter and more fun. And so over here I have this one that's especially made to do that, be brighter and more fun. So again, I will use my, what I'll do is I'm going to probably just make this super fast on the video. I'll do fast forward so you guys can kind of see it again. And I want to do that in kind of the upper portion because I don't want it to hang really far, you know, down past the end of the charm or chain. Yeah, well, that even ended up being a little farther down than I think I really wanted it to be, but that's okay. And then I'm doing the easy way of putting grace on this one, and I think I like that in the upper section, so that's where this is gonna go, is top. Now I could remove this this claw. Those are super great because they're strong, you know, and they usually don't let loose. So I could take off the claw and hang that off of there without having that on there, you know, because it could be a bother, or it's just hanging a lot farther down. And I could change that, but you know, it's, again, it's not something that's going to bother me, and I kind of like it, so we're going to leave it. And then we're going to do this little charm of a bell and a jewel. And you'll see I mix colors. I will mix gold and silver because I do think it looks pretty together, and for me it softens the gold. It's funny, in my life I've liked gold sometimes and sometimes I like silver, and so I do like the mix of both of them at this point, and I am very eclectic in my creations. I don't stick to just one thing because I like to mix things up. So I like that. And look, let's put the star there. I think the star is going to look nice. So tell me, have you made jewelry before? Have you tried it? Are you thinking of trying it again? You don't have to be perfect at it. It's okay to make mistakes because, I had a lot of mistakes when I started out. And sometimes, you might look at it and go, I don't think that looks good at all. And then somebody else comes along and like, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. And you're like, wow, they liked that. And it's just because, everybody has different tastes. So if you think something is not quite your taste and you're like, oh, I don't think that really turned out, understand that there's somebody out there that might really like it. And so I like to lay it out every so often to see what I've got here. And I want to make sure that, I got that really close to that, didn't I? But you know what? I kind of like it. And I think I had one more item I wanted to put on there, if I remember correctly. And I think it was this key of love right there. So put that last item on there, see how it goes, and then we'll be done. But yeah, if you haven't made jewelry before, I highly encourage you. Man, I tell you, it saves a ton of money from buying your own charms. The problem is you end up getting kind of addicted to buying or finding really great items, at the, oh dear, put that back on there, dry, at vintage sales or antique stores, yard sales, estate sales, and then you want to buy everything. And I'm not talking about pieces of beads. I'm talking jewelry. A lot of my jewelry I have deconstructed. I will say these little charms I have not. Those are all from Amazon early on when I started doing beading, and then I decided I really enjoyed it. So I began to buy items at estate sales, all these necklaces and bracelets, and deconstructing them. Ooh, I like this one a lot. So Grace, we've got the key of love there, the beautiful little crystal star, and my little fabric bead, which says handmade on the bottom, handmade or made with love. And then this is a little Belle from one of my Belle pieces that I deconstructed. So that is how you can make your own bead topper. And I just need to make sure that topper there gets all solidly dry. So I think I'm going to leave it on here. And it never gets glued on there. It never gets stuck. So I'm always able to take it out, which kind of amazed me. I thought for sure the Fabric Fix might keep it down in there, but it doesn't. It comes off really nice. So that is the tutorial for today. I felt like it kind of went with the beads and how I organized them and showed you my mass amount of beads. And yes, you can get addicted and kind of overdo it, but if you love it and you're going to keep making these things, then it's worth it. I love to make sun catchers and all sorts of jewelries and pins and things like that I can do for my junk journals. So I should have brought some examples, but you can see them in some of my little videos online. There's a lot of kilt pin beads or kilt pins with beads and dangles on them, and I like to just put those on my junk journals. And I also like to use them as a tie for the junk journal. There's a lot of ways you can use them, and it's a lot of fun. And for me, it saves me quite a bit of money that would have cost a lot otherwise. Now, I want to thank you for coming along today. Thank you for watching and joining along. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and I like to go through those and answer them. So I will respond. And I just want to thank you all for subscribing. Our little group has been growing, and it's very exciting. So please go ahead and subscribe if you'd like to be a part. Hi, I wanted to show you the final products of the glue bottle dangles and stoppers. So this turned out so cute. I love the little hanger made with love and has a little person on it. And so that one's super cute. And then this is my little bright one. with the grace and some beads and the crystal dangle here. Over here we have the star, the scissors and the crystal dangle, and then another bead up there. And I just think that they turned out really cute with miracle and more crystal dangles, jewels, and some of the Belle deconstructed jewelry. Alrighty, well, I hope you give it a try. It really is something pretty quick. This is how I started getting into all the beading. And the longest part is just picking out the jewels and finding out what you want to use on it. So thank you for coming along. I'm glad we were able to do this together, and more videos to come. And let me show you my mess. This is my mess, my crafting mess. I still have my boxes of jewels there. So yeah, that is my mess. I just thought I'd share with you that it's not always so perfect and easy as it looks online. Picking out what I wanted took the longest, and but putting them together, I just have such a great time and feel very successful in the end. And I hope you do too. Happy crafting. Bye.